Oh, what? Controller player!
Reloading.
That is a controller player! It is! I knew it!
Hope you guys enjoyed that intro meme. It was just on the top of my head. I was really looking forward to making that. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. And I'm making this video as a tribute to not just people who just say you're either using a controller or you don't use 5 fingers. That's impossible. I don't know how people don't understand this. It's just, look, it's right there. It's not magic. I hold it with my back 2 fingers. The front 3 I use on my left side. And just for the back, on my right arm, I just use all 3 of my fingers. And then for the front, I use my index and my thumb. It's that simple, guys. But yeah, so what I decided to do this video is to make a guide for doing more than 2 fingers. So this is going to be a 3, 4, and 5 finger guide because I've swapped to it throughout the entire history of COD Mobile. I'm not going to do thumbs just because I haven't really played thumbs since Season 2. And starting now, I'm going to tell you what you should do. First off, if you're going to add a finger, I'd add it on the left side as opposed to the right side, because unless you're left-handed and have some weird loadout, you're going to want to add a finger to the side that you're not aiming with. And there's no problem with adding a finger on your right hand, but the thing is, if you're going to add fingers, first off, you just start with the side that you're not aiming with because it'll be easier. However, if you're going to do 4 finger, what I'm going to recommend you to do is, if you add any buttons on the right side of your screen, it should be basic buttons that you don't do too much with. So for example, you could put your movement on that side if you're doing 4 finger or above, because that way you can just press the button once and you're done. If you have to hold it, it can mess up your aim, which can make your aim more consistent, or it could even make it harder to aim just because of the way your hand's positioned. And on top of that, so what you're going to do is on the left side of your screen, because that's also just where you're doing your movement joystick, which is pretty basic, it's not that hard to screw up. You can just add things like aim on sight, fire, and if you're doing 3 finger claw, this could be where you add your first buttons on the other side of the screen where you don't have your thumbs, which in this case what I'm going to show you is going to be your movement buttons. I'm going to display it right here, right now. What I want you to learn from this is that you're going to want to have your movement and your aim down sight button on the top left of your screen, because as we just went over, it's on the left side, which is the side you don't aim with, so you should have less issues than before. Your aim should be relatively consistent. The only thing that might be a little bit screwed up at first is your overall movement, because you're going to get used to your new movement button spots, and your thumb might be a little weirded out because you're completely shifting the position of it. However, before you get discouraged about adding a finger or more than that, I want to let you know something. Adding a finger does not take that long to get used to. It really takes less than a day to get the overall scheme down. The real problem is your old muscle memory. This is what I like to call, I don't even actually have a name for it, so what this happens is that whenever you add a new finger, you might get used to it pretty quick. After like maybe a couple minutes, you're like, I get this, and you start playing with it. However, because you have muscle memory for where your old positions used to be, sometimes you go to hit prone, and instead of hitting prone, you hit the old spot on your screen where you used to have prone. This will happen a lot to whenever you add more than 1 finger or just 1 finger in general, because you're still used to your old loadout, even though you're used to a new one, which I know it doesn't make sense saying out loud, but it's like this. You know what you want to do, but because you have the old input in your brain, you do it on accident, even though you get it down. So most of the time you'll hit the ADS button for your new ADS spot, but then sometimes in the heat of a moment, you might just go back to your old mode and try to hit the old spot on your screen. Don't worry, this takes like 2 days to buffer out. Maybe on the 3rd day you might solve this issue, but it really does not take as much time as you think to get this down. When I mean day, I just don't mean like a whole day. I'm just talking about like the average matches of that day. It's pretty simple. You may think that adding a finger is hard. It really isn't. All it takes is a little bit of time, and I mean a very little bit of time, and you should get it down. However, there's more to it, because obviously there's going to be more frustration the first day, because there's another thing you have to account for. Your hands are not used to forming that position because you just added another finger, which completely means you have to change the way you hold your phone and play with it. So your hands are going to be sore on that side because your fingers are not used to it. Don't worry, this isn't like I'm sore for the rest of the day. It's just you're sore until you stop holding your hand like that. And this isn't that painful. On top of that, this only lasts for like a little bit of time. Your hands get used to it very quickly. After an hour of playing like that, your hands will stop being sore and you'll be completely used to it. In fact, most of the time, because you like having that new finger layout, you'll actually not want to swap back. It's like getting a new car. You do not want to go back to your old one. Now I'm going to move over to 4 fingers. This is the one I'm really excited for because this is all you need. The reason I have 5 finger is because of this. I am weird. I use hold to ADS as opposed to tap ADS. This is why this loadout will work. Because you can aim, move, and shoot all at the same time. You can do things like jump shooting. You can do things like slide shooting that, which you can technically do on mobile, but this way you can do it like mid-firing and stuff like that, which is useful. You can jump around corners and shoot. You can spam jump and shoot. You basically become a paddle controller player, which is also a reason why I really think that they should actually just put older players with normal mobile players, because they have the same abilities. Even if you think, well, okay, but that's only claw people, when you look at it, it's actually not. It depends. If it's a claw player, it should get put with paddle players, and if it's not a claw player and they're just using thumbs, they actually still have the same abilities as a control player. If you don't believe me, think of it like this. If I'm on claw, right, I'm able to aim, move, and shoot all at the same time with no ability to have to give up my aim for one of the other buttons. Which is why I should get put with a paddle player, because they have the same ability too. Most of the time it's only 2 paddles though. I know this because I actually play on Xbox Elite. Typically they'll have the jump and the slide button in paddles, and everything else is not paddle. Which honestly isn't that bad, because even though I might be able to say switch weapons and that while not doing it, most of the time mobile players don't have this ability either. Even if they did, it's not that bad because you really can't do anything while swapping. So again, not that bad. But if it's just a normal controller player with no paddles, they can also get put with people with 2 fingers, basically just both thumbs, because like them, whenever they have to slide, jump, or reload and stuff like that, they have to take the thumb off the aim and fire button in order to do it. If you're wondering why we should make this a thing, it would increase the overall queue time, because you have controller players who want to get put with other controller players, or parties with controller players with non-controller players, which increases the overall queue of the game and allows for more variety in both ranked and casual playlists. On top of that, this could also increase the overall real player base in casuals, and could allow the devs to remove more bots, which is what players want, because we really don't like bots. Yeah, cool, we can get a VTOL, but what's the point if it's mostly against non-real players? And on top of that, it just ruins the gameplay for no matter what type of game playing. Bots in a multiplayer makes the game extremely stale. It makes games just feel less alive because you're not playing against real players. And this also means that you can make less friendships because there's less real players in casuals if you don't like playing ranked. This also would increase the queue for BR. And while the queue isn't a big problem, the point isn't necessarily just the queue, but rather the amount of real to fake players. Here you go, that's my breakdown of Claw. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got new insight on how controller Claw works, and how maybe controller players and mobile players aren't so different after all. I hope you guys enjoyed, and consider maybe adding a finger. I'm not going to beg for any likes or anything, so just have fun. Comment what you want in the next video. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I have something I need to ask you. Should I make a Damascus guide, and on top of that, should I make a Damascus showcase where I show all the guns with platinum in Damascus? I still have to get 2 guns gold, which is the Fennec and the NA45. If you guys want, I could grind those out and show those with gold, platinum, and Damascus on every single weapon currently available. Also, if you guys want me to do anything else that I haven't thought of, just comment it. I'm not trying to beg for comments. I just really want to know what you guys want to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed.